Let's turn now to a Go Public investigation on the toll sitting through some of those gruesome criminal trials can have on your mental health. Adrian.
You bet, Rosie. That's something the federal government has recognized, and some provinces are offering support for traumatized jurors. But now a court clerk says sitting through grisly trials gave her PTSD, and that the grueling process of trying to get back to work is taking yet another toll. Erica Johnson has her story.
Sandra Curtis calls it a bureaucratic hell. Letters, forms, emails from the Ontario government and Manulife have taken over an entire bedroom of her house as Curtis tries to get back to work.
It makes me feel lost. I'm lost.
For 9 years, Curtis worked here as a court clerk, listening to murder trials, rape trials, the case of a man eventually convicted of soliciting sex with a 3-year-old.
I think that was one of the last things that pushed me on my way out, because it was the listening to it, and then it just affected every court that I was in.
Almost 2 years ago, Curtis went on stress leave. 6 months later, her family doctor said she was not capable of returning to the courtroom. A psychiatrist also said she could do direct administrative work, but agreed a courtroom could damage her mental health. Another psychiatrist formally diagnosed her with post-traumatic stress disorder. This former juror developed PTSD sitting through a 4-month murder trial, says it makes sense others in the courtroom could be affected by gruesome evidence.
You can't say stop. You can't raise your hand and say, I've had enough and I want to take a break.
He pushed for changes, so now several provinces have formal support for jurors. But he says getting help and getting back to work shouldn't be so hard.
To take on that task to look for treatment isn't appropriate, and it's unfortunate that it happens.
Last year, the union representing clerical workers in the federal justice system conducted a year-long survey and found 79% of respondents reported psychological trauma from exposure to disturbing material.
With an election underway in Ontario, all parties are pledging big dollars, billions, to improve support for mental health. Meantime, Sandra Curtis says she's tired of fighting for a job she says is hers. She's filed a grievance against her employer for failing to accommodate her need to avoid disturbing trials. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
If you have a story you want investigated, you know what to do. Contact Erica and the team at Go Public at cbc.ca.